Those of you that don't know Chase Weller, he's a catcher at Dickinson College, graduate of Middletown High School, and has been working with PBP for how many years?
I've been coming here for about 2 years now.
Okay. So Chase, we got Proteus Motion in May, and I got your first test probably around July. What did you feel on that day, and how has adding Proteus Motion to your training changed like what you're essentially able to feel and activate muscle-wise in your swing and throwing?
It helped me kind of realize how much of my body goes into that act of like throwing and hitting.
Yeah.
So like by doing the Proteus and kind of getting the full body like detail of where my deficiencies are, where I'm having a little more strength, and then kind of like seeing that implement that into my workouts and kind of using that to kind of address my weaknesses, and definitely since I've since July come back here in October I think it was, and then back in December.
Correct.
I've seen improvements in not only my Proteus numbers, but that's also correlated to hitting harder, throwing harder.
Yeah. Where was you? Do you have an idea where your exit velocity was back in July? I mean, you have a feeling because your swing best, you're hitting best. What, as far as your swing and rotational, what have you felt the most has improved because of that?
My bat speed for sure. Like I can hear it more just when I swing the bat through the zone. And then also like my exit velocity this winter's been up to 98, 99, especially to like the right field. Like that's obviously I can get that to like left field, but like seeing that in the opposite
being able to go opposite.
Yeah, feeling that better rotation to the opposite field and staying more clear through it.
That's
definitely
awesome.
felt a difference.
That's awesome. Okay, and now we're gonna speak to the people that don't have Proteus Motion. So how have adding in to the little bits of specifically structuring a program according to your needs, what has that done? How have you been able to feel better, move better, and knowing what muscles to activate properly because of that?
Yeah, I mean, definitely as a baseball player, you see a lot of different things about people using different like muscles and different like training programs. And before like coming here, I was definitely doing a lot of like kind of football-ish lifts, like really trying to build like that strength base. But once I got the strength base, I realized that there was more that I needed to unlock within my body in terms of being more explosive, more dynamic as an athlete, especially as a baseball player. Like you see like some of the best MLB players, like they're not jack guys, they're more just flexible, explosive people.
Exactly. They're able to take that strength base and turn it into power.
Yeah, exactly.
With the speed.
Yeah.
So you'll hear us talk a lot around the facility of we need to build that strength base and then turn that strength into speed and power.
Yeah.
If somebody doesn't have the strength base yet, that's our priority and our focus.
Mm-hmm.
Older high school kids, college kids, professional athletes, a lot of them have that strength base. So now it's our jobs as strength coaches to turn that strength into speed and power. Essentially, if somebody lacks the speed, then we focus on that more. If somebody lacks the strength, we focus on that more. But that's where having a professional coach that knows how to apply the information that we can also take and get data from Proteus. We're going to eventually have VBT trainers, velocity-based training. We're going to have those things to test movement, bar speed, stuff like that. It goes back to make sure you know that your coach knows their stuff and how to apply it for you as an individual. And I think that's ultimately what you're realizing is being in this type of environment has allowed you to get even better because you're able to focus on the nooks and crannies that work for you.
Yeah, definitely like come in here and like work on those like nooks and crannies like you said, like things like I would have never even thought about.
Yeah.
But like coming here every day and like hearing like you talk, like hearing like other college guys talk, like hearing like like Josh in here, like Brady, Dustin, whoever it is.
Well, and then just to expand on the conversation we had the other day about like warm-up routines and how plyo balls are a whole nother story, but just how the conversations in this environment has changed and impacted your career.
Yeah, definitely. Like I was definitely like a believer in like using plyo balls to help warm up and like before throwing.
Yeah.
Like after hearing like you and Tommy Roldan talk about he's a pitcher at UVA, so you obviously worked at Cressy. Tommy pitched at UVA. Clearly, you guys know more than I do.
Yeah, we've been around the plyo ball philosophies.
Yeah, so like hearing you guys talk about how you kind of let the arm just warm up instead of using plyos to start doing that, like I kind of like started incorporating that into how I've been like trying to warm up as a catcher.
Awesome.
And I've definitely seen already like my arm feels better and more healthy after throwing. when I'm just doing that, let my arm naturally warm up.
Yeah, and I think that's a whole nother conversation that we can have at another time, but just what works best for you as an individual. You, and I'm speaking to whoever's watching this, whoever's seeing this, you got to learn what works best for you. If you don't know, then you need to go seek out a coach. You need to go seek out other players, have those conversations, and understand, like, what works for one guy isn't going to work for the other guy.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize that everybody is different. Every routine and every process is different. It's reaching that end goal of how do we get there.
Yes, sir.
And that's where I think, and I'm not going to speak for you, but this community has allowed you to pick bits and pieces of the higher level athletes around this facility and learn from them and work with them, train alongside them, and that just has allowed you to adapt some things to your regime as well.
Yeah, I mean, you get better at being around people that are better than you. So like coming in here and hearing other people talk, and like just hearing like different like philosophies, right? Like hearing Tommy talk about how his pitching coach goes about how he manages his guys. Like as a catcher, I can use that to kind of go back to school and use that to how I work with like my pitchers and kind of just taking bits and pieces, how you and Dustin work with people. Take that into our weight room, like go back and like use that information, helping other people on my team with it. That's probably the biggest thing. Yeah,
that's awesome. Well, I appreciate it, man. It's been a pleasure working with you. I'm excited to see what this spring holds for you and the rest of your career.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Couldn't have went any